Welcome back to another Kray video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any videos. And for people really interested in the Krays, check out our private Facebook group, Krays, Crime Lords of London. We're a friendly and moderated group which has been running since January 2018. Please come and give us a try.
Still having problems with Jack McVitie. He was drinking more and more and taking a lot of really lethal pills. Black bombers they were called. Like a fool, I felt sorry for him. He'd done a fair bit of work for us in the past, and Ron and I always showed loyalty to anyone who had worked for the firm. But then McVitie did a crazy thing. He cheated Ron out of some money he owed on some Purple Hearts. It was only 100 quid, but it upset Ron. He felt that if you let one villain cheat you and get away with it, then others would start fancying their chances and start taking liberties. McVitie had cheated us, not once, but twice, and he was boasting about it in the pubs. As if all this wasn't enough, McVitie got smashed out of his brains on booze in a club in Balham owned by Freddie Foreman. Unfortunately, he also caused a very bad scene and started to break the place up. Luckily for him, Freddie Foreman was not about, because Freddie is not a guy to mess with. But he was a very good friend of ours, and this was really embarrassing. A member of our firm smashing up his club. Ronnie and I weren't having any more of it. We apologized to Freddie, squared up with him for the damage, and sent a message to McVitie to meet us at the Regency in Stoke Newington. Ron really slagged him off over the damage to Foreman's club and over the missing merchandise and the club owner who'd been shot. Ron was bloody furious and said he wanted the money McVitie owed on the Purple Hearts there and then, or else. When Ron was in that sort of mood, he'd scare the pants off anyone, and McVitie was scared all right. He told us he owed a lot of money, his nerves were bad, he couldn't get off the pills, his kid was sick, and he just didn't know what to do. "Give me one more chance, Ron," he kept saying. "Please give me one more chance." Like a bloody idiot, I started feeling sorry for him. It was the stuff about the sick kid that got to me. I could never resist a line like that. I didn't know if it was true or not, but McVitie had 1 or 2 kids scattered about, so, like a bloody fool, I lent McVitie 50 quid. I should have known that he'd blow the lot on booze and pills. When I later told Ron that I'd slipped McVitie 50 quid, he went berserk. He sent a message to McVitie saying he wanted all the money back or else. McVitie must have thought I'd dropped him in it with Ron on purpose, which was a load of bollocks. The silly bastard got drunk again, and a couple of nights later, he comes into the Regency waving a sawn-off shotgun and screaming he's going to kill those fucking Krays. Luckily, we weren't in the Regency that night. Otherwise, McVitie would have shot us to pieces. But people who were there said he definitely meant what he said, and he was going to get me in particular. Now, when a guy like McVitie is making threats about you and walking around with a shotgun, if you ignore it, you're asking for trouble. Not only that, all the other villains are looking at each other and saying, "What's happening to the Krays?" They're letting this McVitie make them look like a right pair of soft prats. It's a matter of honor. If you show you're weak, the others start to close in on you like sharks. We had to make an example of McVitie. Even then, I didn't intend to kill him, just to give him a bloody good hiding. So early the next night, I went down to the Regency to look for him. I took a gun with me, a .32 automatic, but I didn't intend to use it, not unless McVitie started anything nasty. I'd never shot anyone before, except with a slug gun when I was a kid. I also took some muscle with me, just in case things started getting rough. There was Ronnie Hart, our cousin, and the Lambrianu brothers. They were trying to get on the firm at the time, and were looking for ways to show Ron and me that they were up to it. We were a bit particular about who we took on. The only reason Hart was on the firm was because he was family, and what a mistake that turned out to be. He turned Queen's evidence, and it's because of him, as much as anybody else, that I am where I am today. McVitie wasn't in the club, luckily for him, so I went for a Chinese meal with Hart and the Lambrianus. Who should be sitting in the restaurant but Jack McVitie, pissed as usual, broke and bloody offensive. He called me some names and then said, "I'll kill you, Kray, if it's the last fucking thing I do." Then he staggered out without paying. I paid his bill. I didn't want any more fuss. There were a lot of people around, ordinary civilians. But as I paid that bill, I remember thinking, "That's your last supper, McVitie." I had no doubts that the guy was a maniac and he was trying to kill me. Now I was going to kill him. I'd had just about enough. We were going to a party that night at a flat in Stoke Newington owned by a girl called Carol. Well, I got there about 11 with Hart, Tony Lambriano and his brother Chris. Ron was there with a couple of young guys and Ronnie Bender, who'd done a few jobs for us. Ron was in a bad mood. He sent Carol and her mates away to another flat, and we sent the Lambrianos to find McVitie and invite him to the party. I never thought he would come. I didn't think he would fall for it. He was friends with the Lambrianos, but he also knew they were as good as on our firm. But he was pissed, and the thought of getting his hands on more booze and on some birds must have persuaded him. Anyway, he turned up about midnight in an old Ford Zodiac. He came straight into the flat and said, "Where's the birds and the booze?" I took out the gun and tried to shoot him in the head. I pulled the trigger twice. I wanted to get it over and done, but the gun jammed. The same thing had happened before with Ron and George Dixon. Ron took it as an omen and let Dixon go. McVitie thought I'd do the same with him. "Come on," he said. "You let Dixon off." "Yes, Jack," said Ron, "but we ain't letting you off. You've taken too many liberties." It was starting to get confusing. The gun hadn't gone off, and I'd had a few drinks myself. I started to struggle with McVitie, and Ron was screaming at him, calling him a slag. McVitie knew he was in dead trouble, but he was a strong bugger and got away. He couldn't get through the door because one of the Lambrianos was in the way. So he ran across the room and tried to dive straight through a window. There was glass and broken wood everywhere. McVitie got his head and shoulders through, but the rest of him was stuck. He couldn't move, so we pulled him back by his legs. By now, he was crying. He wasn't the tough guy anymore. Ron said to him, "Be a man, Jack." McVitie said, "I'll be a man, but I won't fucking die like one." One of the others was holding McVitie's arms behind his back. I was handed a knife. It was a long one, a carving knife. I looked at McVitie and hated him for all the trouble he'd caused. I didn't think about it. I just pushed the knife into his face, near his eye. I just kept on stabbing him. McVitie fell on the floor. Bender put his head to his chest and said he was dead. I felt relieved and a bit sick. I was glad it was over. There was blood everywhere, a lot of it on me. I felt I had to get out of the room. We left the Lambrianos to clean up the place. Most of the others had already done a bunk. Ron and I went to a friend's in Hackney. We had a good scrub down and changed all our clothes. We left them there for our friend to burn. We got rid of the gun and the knife in the canal by Queensbridge Road. They did me for the murder of Jack McVitie almost a year after the event, and they never found the body. They did my brother Charlie and Freddie Foreman for disposing of it, but that's ridiculous. People said McVitie had been buried in the foundations of a motorway or an office block. People said he'd been made into pig food or buried in Epping Forest or put in a furnace at a power station. People even said he'd been put in a coffin and cremated along with someone else. Only Ron and I know what really happened to the body, and we will probably take the secret to our graves. We will never incriminate the other people who were involved. We will never grass on them in the way that people have grassed on us to save their own skins. We would only reveal what happened to the body if we were both released and if everyone else involved was dead and could not be touched. Despite everything it has cost me, I have never felt a moment's remorse. People from the Home Office used to come and see me at Parkhurst. They always said, "Don't you feel sorry you killed Jack McVitie?" If I had said, "Yes, I am very sorry. I never meant to do it," it would probably have looked good on my reports. It might have even helped to get me out of prison, or moved to a softer place than Parkhurst, or made my life in prison a bit easier. But I couldn't say it. I have felt sadness for his family. Someone must have missed him, maybe even loved him. Well, for them I'm sorry. I felt bad afterwards, though. I had a lot of nightmares. Not because I'd killed McVitie, one of the nastiest villains I have ever met, but because sticking a knife into anyone is not a pleasant thing to do. It would have been much easier and cleaner to have shot him. But killing isn't something you do lightly. You try to imagine what it's like to be in a dimly lit room, face to face with another man, and then stick a knife in him. Unless you're a psychopath, and I'm not, it's not an enjoyable feeling. It's a bloody awful feeling. And the panic afterwards when you realize what you've done. What shall we do with the body? What am I going to do with the knife? What shall I do with my clothes? Will anyone grass on me? Maybe the coppers are on their way even now. And you try sleeping afterwards with so many thoughts going through your mind. But soldiers have to kill the enemy, otherwise the enemy will kill them. No one calls soldiers murderers, and in a way we were soldiers. Only our battleground was the streets of London. I wouldn't kill now. I'm much older, much wiser, much more patient, and I've had a lot of time to think. But at the time it seemed the necessary thing to do. Angelo Bruno was right, though. We shouldn't have done our own dirty work. I should have paid someone else to do it for me. Perhaps if McVitie had just been badly hurt, it would have been different. But you can't turn the clock back. What's done is done, and you have to pay the price. I think I've paid. It's cost me nearly half my life. Books, newspapers, TV documentaries and movies have said that I killed McVitie because I was under the influence of my brother, because I was frightened of him, because I was trying to prove that I was as tough as he was because he had killed George Cornell. It's not true. I was not under Ron's influence. I am sick to death of people saying Ron was the bad one, the evil one, and I was the nice one, the weak one, who was led astray by him. I was every bit as bad, if bad is the word to use, as my brother. He didn't frighten me, even in his black moods, when depression hit him hard and the madness started to set in. I was never frightened of Ron. Why should I have been? Apart from Charlie and our mother, I was the one person in the world he would never have hurt, the one person he trusted in business matters. I never felt I had got to prove myself to Ron by killing another man. He never tried to goad me into it. McVitie was not the snivelling weakling that some books and documentaries have made him out to be. He was a tough customer, a man with the strongest arms I've ever seen, a man who was given to terrible violence. If I hadn't taken him out, he would have got me, possibly killed me. Certainly he would have waited his chance and had me done over. So I killed him. And I'm not sorry, even though it's cost me so much. But I wouldn't kill again. The price was too high, even for the last supper of a man like Jack McVitie.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please join our Facebook group. It's called Krays Crime Lords of London. We're a friendly moderated group with over 1,000 Kray and other celebrated gangster videos available for view. There's also thousands of images in the photos sections. The link for the group is in the YouTube description section. I hope we see you there soon.
Leave a like and subscribe.